Hello, how are you? The topic of this video is
Demystify boot process, Part 6, Summary. We have covered a lot of material. You may feel overwhelmed if this is the first time to look at grub-2 source code. Let's recap the whole procedure again. We look at files under boot directory in Linux system. They include Linux kernel files, grub-2 configuration file, and 3 important files that will be discussed in details: boot.img, core.img, and normal.mod. Then we downloaded grub-2 source code version 2.4 from GitHub and opened in Visual Studio Code. The grub-install.c is the first source code file we reviewed. We look at the functions that load grub configuration file and install boot.img and core.img. grub-2 boot stage 1 starts with boot.img. Its source code is boot.S. The program is loaded by BIOS to hex 07C0 real memory address and starts from there. Jump to label real start. Use interrupt hex 13 function hex 42 to load diskboot.img to hex 7000, followed by copying to hex 8000 with instructions REP and movsw. boot.c is ended with magic number hex 55AA 2 bytes at hex 510 to 511. The source code associated with stage 2 diskboot.img is diskboot.S. It uses similar routines as boot.S to load and copy the rest of core.img sector by sector. At the end, jump to hex 8200 to start executing core.img. By the way, diskboot.img is the first sector of core.img. Stage 3 core.img is made from various source code files. The first one is diskboot.s that has been mentioned in stage 2. The second one is startup raw.s. It starts at address hex 8200. Then transition from real memory address mode to protected mode. The implementation can be found in realmode.s source code. The steps are loading global descriptor table, setting PE or protected mode enable bit to turn on protected mode, loading interrupt descriptor table. After returning to startup raw.s file, directive code 32 is used to take gas assembler out of 16-bit mode, followed by running read Solomon error correction code, LZMA decoder. Then jump to the entry file for grub-2 kernel, startup.s. Here BSS segment is cleared. Grub main function written in C language is called. Stage 4 with normal.mod starts with grub main function in main.c under kernel folder. It calls grub load config and grub load normal mode function. The grub command normal is the next command to be executed. It's registered in main.c under normal folder. After loading grub config file, menu is displayed by show menu function, and menu entries are executed by grub menu execute entry in menu.c file. Actually, the implementation of grub script execute new scope is defined in another file, execute.c. It reads selected menu entries and executes associated commands. For Linux, the associated commands are constructed in grub command Linux defined in linux.c. Here, grub Linux boot is set as a callback function for grub load boot function, which will be used later. Back to menu.c file. Still in the same function, grub menu execute entry. After calling grub script execute new scope statement. Call grub command execute function with boot parameter. The actual function for Linux is grub command boot function in boot.c. The next function called is grub Linux 16 boot function in linux.c. After setting video mode, grub relocator 16 boot function is used to jump to Linux kernel, which marks the end of boot process using grub2 bootloader. This is a complicated process. You may want to navigate grub2 source code by yourself, following the flowchart to gain more insight. Hopefully you have learned something you feel useful here. Thanks for watching.